You're ready for a comeback. And with Purdue Global, you can do more than take classes. You can take charge of your story, of your career, of your life. Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect. It's time, your time, not just to go back to school, but to come back and move forward with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu.
This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab. Many people have questions about how to improve levels of happiness. Living a healthy lifestyle is one sure way of increasing happiness. And a good place to start is with your oral health. Just a few small changes to your oral care routine, such as changing your toothpaste to Colgate Total, can lead to beneficial changes in your oral health. Colgate Total helps stop oral health problems like gingivitis and cavities before they start, because preventing oral health problems is a lot easier than treating them. Be dentist ready and get Colgate Total at shop.colgate.com/total.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic abuse in their lifetime, and nearly half of survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina started the Purple Leash Project to help eliminate one of the many barriers domestic abuse survivors face: a lack of pet-friendly domestic violence shelters. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters across the country, so abuse survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to get involved.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Episode 454, How to Say No to Impulse Purchases.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are taking a slight departure from our normal format where we cover the internet's most not reliable, but most obvious answers to our questions about spending money and personal finance. And we are sharing our own opinions, which may not be podcast most accurate, but it is the most in your face, just like Google. It's the most readily available answers to questions you may or may not have had.
There are times where we think we have the best things to say on any given topic, like this one, impulse purchases. We talk about it a ton in our upcoming book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. And we've talked about it a ton on the podcast. So we feel as though it's time to do our own dedicated episode about saying no to impulse purchases. But first, this episode is brought to you by Easy Yeses. Like when someone offers you a free hot dog or to clean your floors or a lifetime supply of gum. There are just some things in life that we can respond to with an instant, emphatic yes. Like ordering our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. The title is a banger. The content is fire. The authors are slightly unhinged, but completely trustworthy. So when we tell you to stop what you're doing and pre-order Buy What You Love Without Going Broke at buywhatyoulovebook.com, we know it's an easy yes. You won't regret this decision come January when you're ready to set yourself up for financial success in 2025 and you've got this puppy in your hands. Again, buywhatyoulovebook.com.
Yes, don't wait. Do it now.
Do it now.
Before the holidays get you feeling discouraged.
And before you hear all of our tips about how to say no to impulse spending, make this impulse purchase and then say no to the rest.
So true. The book will help you say no to so many impulse purchases. It will literally pay for itself. I think it will also help you save money on some huge expenses, and it will pay for itself 10, maybe 1,000 times over. It's only $25. So it's very likely some of the tips in here could save you money 1,000 times over. I'm not lying. I'm not overinflating it. I really do believe that. So buywhatyoulovebook.com and impulse spending. Let's get down to it. We asked you guys about it in the Friendletter. That is our 3-time weekly newsletter where we share freebies and saving tips and even excerpts from the book, excerpts about values-based spending. And we asked you, when are you most likely to impulse buy? Late night, on the phone, in person at the store, when you're with other people, when you're stressed, other. And y'all had some interesting answers, but it was a very evenly spaced between all of these options. When I'm stressed or excited, edged out slightly, but like really everyone struggles with impulse spending for a different reason. I would say even the people, if I was taking the poll, which I didn't because I would skew it, my one answer. If I took the poll, I could answer all of these. So I'm sure we're definitely going to cover all 4 of these options, but only 6 people chose other. And we don't know what any of those responses are.
Did they not elaborate?
No, but so many people, like it's not just in store. Sometimes it's online. Some people do it, with other people. Some people do more alone. Like it just runs the gamut. So we're going to cover all of it today because we cover all of it in our book. And this is just going to be a fun little teaser. We also have other episodes about impulse shopping to queue up after this. We've got episode 408, what happens when you stop impulse shopping? And then episode 351, impulse buying, what it is and how to stop. So those episodes, we do cover some articles on the internet and we have some spicy takes. You might be interested in queuing them up after this.
So we want to go through, again, something that we talk about in the book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, is the top 5 reasons that we impulse buy. And we want to rattle those off to you all today in this podcast episode, but also pair that with ways that we can choose differently. So wherever you find yourself in that kind of questionnaire, or as we talk about these reasons that we impulse buy, identifying which one's your impulse buying kind of kryptonite, which one are you most drawn to, and what can you do as a result. I love something that you've said, Jen, quite a bit in the past, just to start the episode off, is we all do it. And our Friendletter poll proves that we all impulse buy, maybe some of us more than others, but it happens to all of us. And I think it's important to recognize that there is a reason behind our impulse buying. And there's a reason that it's not easy to just stop. Even though we might not feel great about the purchase afterward, or there might be some guilt attached to it, or we wish that we could put money towards these other goals that we have, but instead we find ourselves just one-click buying or filling our cart with more than what was on our shopping list. And I think to recognize that it's not because, we're so weak or we're too easily influenced. There's a whole lot going on behind the scenes when it comes to marketing and advertising that is playing into the ways that our brains are wired, how we think about things, our cognitive biases, which we'll get a little bit more into that as we go along. But it's worth noting at the top of this episode that there's nothing wrong with you if you impulse buy. It's very normal. We probably will not be able to stop impulse buying altogether, but the more we can equip ourselves with the knowledge and information around why it happens, the ways in which we're prone to impulse buy, the better able we are to interrupt it, choose something differently, and feel a lot more confident about the ways that we're managing our money.
Exactly. So the first the first root cause of impulse spending that we talk about in the book is one that I think is I think it is the ultimate way that a lot of us impulse spend. And understanding this one actually helps us with all the other ones. And it's habit spending. Because so often I have found that even in talking about impulse spending and talking about overconsumption day after day after day, I still fall prey to I will go to Starbucks and do a drive-through like treat for my son, and then maybe just do another treat next week. And then maybe the next week, maybe I do one with him, and maybe I do just one with me. And it slowly kind of spirals from this special thing I was doing with my son to a habit of ending up in the drive-through. And so mine is usually coffee, but like it could be anything. It could be escaping to Target, or, anytime there's a sale. Like there's so many things, and we'll talk about these roots of impulse spending. But ultimately, if we first understand habits and habit spending, then we can better understand how each of these other roots evolve. And so a lot of you have heard of the habit loop. We have talked about it so much on this podcast. And there's two main kind of theories in the habit loop. So cue, craving, response, reward is the typical one, but then you could also just cue, craving, reward. And so it doesn't matter which one you look at, honestly. I think if you just look at the cue, we know the craving, the response, and the reward because we're talking about spending. I think we just have to look at the cue. So don't make it super complicated. That's where the 90-day transaction inventory comes in. And when you put all of your past transactions out on the table, on the spreadsheet, wherever you have it, and you're looking for patterns, you're looking for the cues are specifically what you are looking for. So if you are making a lot of coffee purchases at a certain time of day, like on your way to work, that could be location, it could be preceding event, leaving your house, it could be time of day, morning. You'll find that usually these purchases won't just have one trigger, won't have just one cue, but you need to identify at least one cue for each of the patterns so that you can start to say, okay, the pattern is I leave my house to go to work and I stop at Starbucks on the way. I obviously cannot change the location because that would involve changing either my house or my work. Can't touch that. I can't change the time of day because I go, or the preceding event. So I can't change the time of day, but I can change the preceding event, which is I can make coffee at home and take it with me. So a lot of the times we will say, like, I can't change because I can't change where I work. I can't change where I live. I can't change the time of day. But there's usually one trigger of the many that can be interrupted. Mm-hmm. I know that was a long ramble. I'm so sorry.
Or the route that you take to work. And I know a huge pushback on this too is, cutting out coffee is not going to make a huge difference in my finances. And we don't disagree. I think it's just an easy example of something that could be habit spending. But it also is, what could $7 to $10 a day mean to other financial goals or other things that you would want to purchase? So I still think it's worth looking at. But also recognize that habit spending can happen even apart from a coffee example, but recognizing whether or not it's something that's happening just out of, it's just what you're accustomed to doing versus intentional choices that are being made. The second most common reason that we impulse buy is shopping as an activity. This one for me is one of my kryptonites personally. I grew up going to the mall on the weekends for fun. when I'm together with friends or my mom, just going to a store, window shopping, as we often call it. But we were always going into the stores and walking around and usually buying something, allowing the shelves and the racks to inform us on what we want to spend our money on that day. Not really going in with a list. It's just something to do that afternoon or that weekend. And so I think what can happen here in shifting, if this is your circumstances, if you're finding yourself just at the store, but no list in hand, no real reason to be there, you just don't know what else to do, it's worthwhile to list out what could be some alternative activities. Because with any of these that we're talking about, the way to say no to impulse purchases is not simply to stop and say no. It's to find replacements. It's to find alternatives. We have to give ourselves something else to do, a way to value whatever needs are going on for us and not just deprive ourselves. So I'm not saying don't go shopping, just stay at home. Instead, it could be, are there people that you could get together with? Could you pick up a new hobby? Could you do something that's been on your to-do list for a while, and go shopping when you have a list, right? Eventually we do spend money and we can spend it intentionally, but it doesn't have to be the thing that is how we're entertaining ourselves and buying things that we don't actually need, we weren't planning to purchase, and doesn't really make us feel great after we've bought it.
Yeah. And shopping as an activity becomes habit. And one of the big things about that we talk about in Frugality is cultivating creativity. And without borders, without like limits, you don't have any incentive to be creative with how you spend your time, how you spend your money. And when you give yourself these barriers, you can get creative. So there are so many activities. You won't like them all, right? They're not all for you, but you don't know the ones that are for you until you try a lot that are not for you. So getting creative with your activities, how you spend time with friends, is an integral part of frugality and values-based spending. Next, this was the number one thing people said they impulse bought for, is stress shopping. But we actually think that it's just emotional shopping. It's every emotion. So sad, happy, celebratory, lamenting, like we will shop for every perceivable emotion. It's just the primary one that we shop for is when we're stressed. And I feel that so intensely. I will try to get off of social media because I will stress scroll, and then social media will make me stressed. So I'll get off of it. And then where do I go? For some reason, I will open up Amazon and I'll stress scroll Amazon after my child screams about me turning off Minecraft for the 368th day in a row. So yeah, it's just a mindless way to dissociate and regain control over situations that I feel like I have very little control over. And so the combat to that would be just having a list of alternatives to do when I feel different emotions. And so not even needing to address the emotion head on, but to address that coping mechanism head on, is to just create a healthier coping mechanism. And the key to this is having different sizes of activities, of coping mechanisms. So when I'm scrolling Amazon in my bed, I'm stressed, the solution is not to get up and go for a run. Though exercise and meditation are super helpful in relieving stress, I would not get up and go for a run. At that time, I might try meditating. More often than not, I'm going to like recheck myself and be like, okay, I have to stop scrolling. I'm going to turn on a phone game. And my go-to is solitaire. So I'll do that. But in a perfect world, the most ideal solutions are either exercise or meditation. And I should probably meditate more. If you are stronger than I am, that is what I would recommend to you. And if you're like me, I would say pick up solitaire. It's the only child's like favorite phone game. If my trigger is going to target when I'm stressed, then that's kind of like a medium sized. So that in that case, maybe trying a walk or going outside in nature, something that's going to give you a dopamine rush, similar to shopping, but in a different way for a different price. And then there's bigger things like shopping as an activity. If we're stressed and we're calling the girls and like, let's go out on the town, I'm feeling stressed, I just want to buy drinks. Creating a different big coping mechanism to where you're gathering the girls and we're walking. We're going for a walk or we're doing something. So having those different sizes, again, a lot of trial and error to see what's going to work for you. But that's an important distinction to have when you're trying to combat the stress shopping.
Another type of list that you could have is identifying what might work for you when feeling different emotions. So literally having a written out list of when I'm happy, what do I want to be engaging in? When I'm sad, what are some things that I can do to care for myself? When just listing out common emotions you've felt within the last week and activities that you could do that are free when you're feeling that way. And this is something that you can absolutely use the internet to help you come up with a list. And like Jen mentioned earlier, not all of them are going to work for you. Some of them you'll try on for size and they don't fit and you can throw that one out. But eventually refining this list of here's what I can do when I'm feeling this way. And then that way we can know we are meeting the need. We're addressing the emotion with something that's actually going to work rather than slapping a purchase onto something. And it usually doesn't actually fulfill whatever it is that we're looking for.
Whether you're starting or scaling your company's security program, demonstrating top-notch security practices and establishing trust is more important than ever. Vanta automates compliance for ISO 27001, SOC 2, GDPR, and more, saving you time and money while helping you build customer trust. Plus, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center, all powered by Vanta AI. Over 8,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and improve security in real time. Our audience gets a special offer of $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/special. That's VANTA.com/special for $1,000 off.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So, buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing, and of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic. oracle.com/strategic.
The 2024 presidential election is here. MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground. Steve Kornacki is at the big board breaking down the races. Rachel Maddow and our Decision 2024 team will provide insight as results come in. And the Next Day Morning Joe will give you perspective on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC.
With the best all-inclusive vacation deals to Mexico and the Caribbean, booking your getaway with Cheap Caribbean Vacations means you have more freedom to do your deal. Whether you want to enjoy snorkeling, endless margaritas, and more, or simply soak up the sun and sand in a tropical paradise, Cheap Caribbean Vacations has your deal for that. Plan and book the exact getaway you want at exactly the right price for you by using our exclusive Budget Beach Finder, or find a featured, family-friendly, all-inclusive package to Dreams Resorts and Spas and do your deal at cheapcaribbean.com.
Buying a home can be overwhelming these days. From start to finish, Navy Federal Credit Union's new Home Buying Center has everything you need to get to closing with confidence, like verified pre-approval. A pre-approval shows sellers you're a serious buyer, potentially giving you a competitive advantage when making an offer. Realty Plus connects you with an agent for continued support every step of the way. Lock and Shop lets you lock in your interest rate for up to 60 days while you shop. No refi rate drop gives you peace of mind to buy now, knowing that if interest rates fall, you could decrease your rate without having to refinance for a small $250 fee. If you're overwhelmed by shopping for a new home, Navy Federal's new Home Buying Center has solutions for every step of the process. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA Equal Housing Lender. Membership required. Terms and conditions apply. Loans subject to approval. Call 1-888-842-6328 for details about credit costs.
The fourth reason that many of us impulse shop is social influence. This is both the people around us, our community, our friends, our neighbors, as well as the people that we follow online. So there's a lot of opportunity for impulse purchasing when it comes to who it is that we follow, who it is that we hang out with. When we see other people having something or recommending something or seemingly making their lives better or more efficient or giving us a sense of if we had that thing, maybe we would fit in. There'd be belonging, community happening as a result. It can really influence us to want to buy that thing. Again, from following people online and getting to know someone's personality, what it is that they're doing and trusting their recommendations of skincare products, kitchen appliances. I mean, people are selling clothing, people are selling everything online. And so when we feel like we are connecting with someone on Instagram or Facebook and they're talking about what it is that they recommend, we are more likely to want that item because there's this cognitive bias of social proof that I like them, I trust them, they seem to like this thing, it's working for them, I want to try it out, maybe it'll work for me. And those thoughts aren't even necessarily happening in the way that I'm saying them out loud. We sometimes don't even know all that goes into our purchase. We don't realize that it's because we trust them, we like them, we think it'll solve our desire for belonging and self-fulfillment. Our brains just cut to, if I want that thing, I'm going to one-click buy it. And that's the impulsiveness of it. Or we're at a friend's house and they've got the latest type of appliance, rug, even cleaning products, my goodness. And now I think I have to do that. If I buy that, then maybe my house will be clean. If I buy that, maybe my home will look as aesthetic as this place. Who knows what it is that that might be connecting with you, but the people that we're around play a massive role. And so there's not much we can do about this because we desire belonging and community, and that's a very good thing. So we don't want to cut out people, but being aware of the ways in which the people we're around are influencing us. And this can be as simple as creating a pause before our purchases. So whether that's just asking ourselves a few simple questions of, what is behind me wanting to buy this thing? What problem that I'm experiencing do I think that this will solve for me? It can help in identifying, is this actually something that I want to do? Some other things that I found helpful is creating a list of the things that I want to purchase. So if I do see somebody selling something on Instagram, or a friend just got something, or a neighbor's got a new gadget, I'll write it down, because it's good to value the need that is arising, the desire that's arising, and put that energy somewhere. But it doesn't mean that we need to use our energy by buying the thing. We can put space in between it. Create a list. I keep it in my notes app on my phone of, here's something that I want to purchase, want to buy this, want to get this. So then when it comes time to, maybe I am out at the store or I'm running errands, I can look at that list and identify, is this something that I still want? Have I lived life without it long enough that I'm actually okay without it? The initial desire for it has gone and I'm okay without purchasing this. Can I make this myself? Can I fix the problem with things that I already have? Can I buy this secondhand? These are kind of the questions that I run through before I'll end up purchasing something new. And finally, I would recommend, at least when it comes to who we're following online, that could use a little bit of an inventory and potentially an overhaul. If you're noticing that there's particular people that you're following on social media who are leading you to your most common impulse buys, maybe stop following them for a little bit or hide their profile. Find people to follow that are going to encourage you towards your goals. I think social media is a lovely tool if we can curate it for ourselves in a way that's going to be helpful for us. So following people who are going to get us excited about cooking at home or hosting in our home on a budget, or hanging out with friends, free ideas. All of these accounts exist, and we can be following these people that are supporting and encouraging us towards our goals rather than depleting our energy, our emotions, our finances.
Yeah, the cleaning thing was so personally attacking to me, because I have definitely, in my disdain for cleaning, I hate cleaning. And so I am looking always for things to make it easier. But the only thing that makes it easier is doing it more frequently and in shorter spurts. And so it's a habit change that's the root cause of my disdain for it. And I'm trying to buy the solution to a problem whose solution is not purchasable. Or whose best solution is not purchased. It's a sorry, not a sorry excuse, but it is a lesser excuse for the true solution. So it's,
We'll procrastinate. We'll spend on the cleaning products because we think that's what's going to make our house clean. We'll spend on all the exercise gear and equipment because we think that's what's going to get us to be exercising. We'll spend on the journals so that we can start gratitude journaling, when in reality, we already have these things at our disposal.
Yeah.
We already have at least soap and water and a rag at home. We already have clothes we can wear to exercise and old ratty tennis shoes if need be. We already have paper and pen, or even something digital that we can be journaling with. But instead, we'll go and buy the things thinking that purchasing the item is going to get us closer to that goal, when really taking the steps towards that goal is what we need to be doing first.
Yeah, it's hard to hear that sometimes.
Yes, I'm saying it to myself too.
Yeah, so we're going to move on because I don't want to hear it. So the last one that I actually love talking about, one of the biggest reasons, and this one's coming up with the holidays, is the thrill of the hunt. We love hunting. And this comes from somebody who does not love camping. I don't love thrifting, like hunting for things that I can, but I still feel a rush when I get a good deal on something, especially if it was something I was going to buy anyways. And that feeling is capitalized on by companies because they want to give you a deal on something you are going to buy in the hopes of bringing you in, because it is very likely you'll add something to your cart that you weren't going to buy, but you will because it's on sale. That is the goal of sales, not to get you a deal, but we love the thrill of the hunt. And so how do we fulfill that? Especially if you're like me and I don't love other hunts. So how do you fulfill that without spending unnecessarily? So hunt something different. The most dangerous game. Goals. I really wanted to put that in the book. Spoiler, that line did not make in the book, but I really wanted to talk about hunting the most dangerous game. Anyways, goals. I think a lot of the thrill that I can get now is hunting some kind of goal, and not big goals, but maybe smaller goals, and focusing on those. So for the last 6 weeks, I've been tracking my eating, and that's been a goal of mine, is to be more intentional with tracking what I eat and making little changes to kind of make healthier choices. So I haven't eaten out at all in the last 6 weeks, except when we've been out of town. But when we have been home, we have eaten in every night. It's been insane for me because I don't love cooking. I hate dishes, and I'm always looking for an excuse to get out and eat. And it's just been mind blowing to me with this little chase that I've been doing to track and stay on track, has been doing for other things financially for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thrill of the hunt remains for me. Absolutely. And I think that's one of those things, we don't have to entirely weed out this desire to hunt for a good deal. I think that's part of the benefit of this particular propensity is there can be a lot more research that goes into your purchases and potentially a lot more thought around it. So we can certainly leverage this to our benefit in looking for the best deal, the best way that you can solve for this issue or problem that you're having without spending a ton of money. So I think that this one can work in our favor, but also recognizing that there are other things that we can replace here. Like you mentioned, the new goal. Yeah, reading a book, trying out a new hobby. I think there's so many things that we can do that fit into that thing that many of us have, where we want to dig, we want to search, we want to problem solve, and it doesn't have to mean that we're buying something we didn't intend to.
Yeah, and it sounds so silly, try another hobby, do this, but it is so effective, and just trying until you get something that fits it increases your creativity, and it makes you feel so good. It'll increase your confidence. And so we talk about that stuff and some other things in the book that are peripheral to these 5, cognitive biases. And so again, you'll have to check out the book at buywhatyoulovebook.com to get the rest of it.
And the thing that has been most helpful for me, speaking of the peripheral stuff, is the marketing tactics. I think when we were researching for that and writing about that, it was so illuminating and really helped to equip me with knowledge and awareness to be more mindful and intentional when I'm spending, where now I can identify, oh, this marketing tactic is at play here. I can be a little bit more judicious about the ways that I'm thinking about how I want to spend my money, and knowledgeable about what's happening. What are the ways that they're trying to utilize my cognitive biases, which can be really great and helpful in some scenarios, against me in this situation to make me spend money that I didn't want to. So another peripheral topic that I think is so, so helpful if you want to be equipped even more on this type of thing, how to say no to impulse purchases. Again, buywhatyoulovebook.com. But you know what makes us equipped every single episode with just the best tips and randomness.
And you don't have to wait for this.
The Bill of the Week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hi, Jen and Jill. This is Friendletter writer Kim, and I'm recording my Bill of the Week about the Renaissance Fair. My partner wanted to go because he has never gone before for his birthday. And while we were there, we got engaged. And I wanted you guys to know. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
We are both clearly finding out about this at the same time.
Yes.
I saw Jill's face. Congratulations, Kim.
Yay, Kim.
Yay.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wow.
We make our own sound effects over here.
I don't know what sound effects are at the Renaissance Fair, or I would do them. But clink, clink, sword fighting. It's swords clinking together in celebration.
That too. Oh, Kim, how exciting. Yeah. So Kim is one of our writers for the Friendletter, which we mentioned at the top of the episode is where we send out freebies and savings tips, how to spend more mindfully and in values-based alignment, and even excerpts from the book. And Kim helps us to write those every week. We give 3 free Friendletter emails a week. And Kim is an awesome one. She's got the same kind of wit and style that we do. And lots of fun memes in these Friendletters. And it's where we poll you, where we talk about the polls in these episodes. So if you want to get that Friendletter, frugalfriendspodcast.com. But Kim is just a valued part of our team. And we knew that you were getting serious in this relationship, but my goodness, is this so very exciting. Congratulations. What a great bill. If you all want to submit your bill, if it has to do with a Renaissance fair or getting engaged or getting married or having a baby or just out here living a single life.
Yeah. If you want to propose as a Bill of the Week, please. That would be a dream. That's my dream. Somebody's proposing to someone as they're on the Bill of the Week.
Yeah. So frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill to leave your bill.
The 2024 presidential election is here. MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground. Steve Kornacki is at the big board breaking down the races. Rachel Maddow and our Decision 2024 team will provide insight as results come in. And the Next Day Morning Joe will give you perspective on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC.
With the best all-inclusive vacation deals to Mexico and the Caribbean, booking your getaway with Cheap Caribbean Vacations means you have more freedom to do your deal. Whether you want to enjoy snorkeling, endless margaritas and more, or simply soak up the sun and sand in a tropical paradise, Cheap Caribbean Vacations has your deal for that. Plan and book the exact getaway you want at exactly the right price for you by using our exclusive Budget Beach Finder. Or find a featured, family-friendly, all-inclusive package to Dreams Resorts and Spas and do your deal at cheapcaribbean.com.
Buying a home can be overwhelming these days. From start to finish, Navy Federal Credit Union's new home buying center has everything you need to get to closing with confidence, like verified pre-approval. A pre-approval shows sellers you're a serious buyer, potentially giving you a competitive advantage when making an offer. Realty Plus connects you with an agent for continued support every step of the way. Lock and Shop lets you lock in your interest rate for up to 60 days while you shop. No refi rate drop gives you peace of mind to buy now, knowing that if interest rates fall, you could decrease your rate without having to refinance for a small $250 fee. If you're overwhelmed by shopping for a new home, Navy Federal's new home buying center has solutions for every step of the process. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA Equal Housing Lender. Membership required. Terms and conditions apply. Loans subject to approval. Call 1-888-842-6328 for details about credit costs.
Did you know that 1 in 8 kids in Atlanta will go hungry tonight? Eating healthy, balanced meals is essential for kids to learn and grow. That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield and education nonprofit Common Threads have teamed up to help schools learn about healthier food preparation. In Atlanta, they're joined by The Dream and will provide education, recipes, and knowledge to students and families about healthier options. Visit anthem.com/dream to learn more. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc.
With Cybersecurity Awareness Month coming to a close, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. Software updates are used to patch up security issues and bugs that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to personal information. Regularly updating your software is just one more easy step to help protect your personal information. But for comprehensive identity theft protection, LifeLock can help give you real peace of mind. Only LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft issues that arise guaranteed. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second and detects and alerts you to a wide range of threats, well beyond what you can see on your own. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, you're backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package with up to $3 million in coverage. Start protecting your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/iHeart. That's LifeLock.com/iHeart. Terms apply.
And now it's time for the
lightning round. All right. How do you extend grace to yourself after making an impulse purchase?
This is a question from
This is
Goldie.
such a deep one. Jill, can you go first on this one? I really want to hear your answer.
Mine is kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it's accurate. I'm not saying it's the best response or that everyone should do this. But if I make an impulse purchase and I don't feel good about it, I just return it. That's just the truth of it. So I don't know if that's exactly extending grace to myself, but it does bring me relief. If I'm like, you know what? I don't know why I bought this. I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't want to go back to the store, but that's what's going to happen. I mean, maybe not the same exact day, but I'll just throw it back in the car with the receipt and it gets returned. If it's a purchase from a thrift store, were you about to ask that?
Yeah, what if it can't be returned?
Can't be returned.
Or food.
Yeah.
Or something.
I do make sure that I use it. I think that's the best way for me to feel relief and freedom in it, is to say, you know what, that's a decision I made. I can learn from it. So I guess there's the grace in it of letting myself off the hook, but logging it so that it can inform future decisions and then using it, whether for myself or if I decide I don't actually want this thing, but I know someone who could benefit from it. That's always a silver lining for me, is if it could be of use to somebody else. That's what I do.
Mm.
How about you?
For me, something that's very much helped me is the non-judgmental questions that we talk about in chapter 2, is looking at my spending with neutrality, because every purchase has a purpose, including and especially impulse purchases. So asking myself non-judgmental questions about why I made the impulse purchase, and then making a plan to make a better choice or a more values-aligned choice in the future. And that's kind of something I'm doing with this, with tracking my food for the past 6 weeks, has been because I was eating out more than I liked, and I was not making it. I was buying something that should have lasted me all week and like eating it in 2 days, sort of thing, to the point where like Travis would get mad because we were like trying to split something, and then I just couldn't help myself and I would eat all of it and leave nothing for him, and it would be 2 days, right? And so he didn't even have time. And so like now, so this has been my solution to that. And yeah, just making a plan and looking at it non-judgmentally.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I hope this episode helped you to think about some of your impulse spending, to think honestly about impulse spending in a more holistic way, that there are multiple root causes to it and multiple solutions. And in our book, we even propose an exercise you can do to more quickly round out these solutions and come up with them. So highly recommend buywhatyoulovebook.com. Thank you for listening. We love reading your kind reviews, especially this one from Maya in the Sun. It happens to be 5 stars. I love these girls. Practical, relevant, and a little weird. This podcast is not only full of practical tips and tricks to save money, but full of fun and weirdness too. Listening to Jen and Jill is like sitting in your back patio on a perfect summer afternoon, drinking a margarita with your best girls and talking money. They're so purely themselves, and it makes them so relatable. The topics are almost always relevant to me as a woman in her early 30s with no kids, but there's something for everyone. The show is really a breath of fresh air amid all the stuffy or bro dude personal finance podcasts that are out there. Jen and Jill are girls, and I love it.
Oh,
Maya, we are in the sun with you, drinking margs.
I'm feeling that. I wish that's where we were right now. Summer afternoon, drinking a marg, talking money, being relatable.
This is
amazing.
Perfect, Maya. Thank you.
It is funny. Eric said, I think your listeners know you better than you think that they do. Because I'm like, the podcast is just part of me. He's like, no, you really are just yourself. I think they know you and get you and your style, just who you are a whole lot more than you realize.
I got an email literally the other day from a listener who sent me a picture of her water bottle. And she's like, I thought about your new shirt that you just got that says support local libraries. And so she got a sticker from her local library. I think it said like I love the Wisconsin Library, or Wisconsin Library loves me, or something. And it was right under a Frugal Friends sticker. Yeah. And I was like, you know me. I'm a one-issue voter, and that's my issue. It's libraries.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Maya. We feel like you get us, and we're glad that you feel as though we get you. And we love that review. And if you all are listening and you haven't left us a review yet, and you do think that you know us more than we realize you know us, please leave us a review telling us that. We'd love to hear how many of you are out there just getting us, just
leave a review with something really like oddly specific about one of us that you think is oddly specific and really, really weird.
Oh, that'd be fun.
We'll love it. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
See you next time. Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani.
Speaking of people understanding us, so we just had an awful hurricane here. By the time this comes out, we will be weeks post Hurricane Helene, but Jen and I are both in the Tampa Bay area, and it's been really, really, really rough. Thankfully, we are okay. And as far as the people that we're connected with, our communities, our neighborhoods, devastated, but moving through it. And I was out in the immediate wake of this at Home Depot, getting supplies and helping people clean out their flooded homes. And I walk out and they were offering free hot dogs. This guy just yelled out, "You want a free hot dog?" And I've never heard someone yell that to me before. My initial reaction was like, I don't know if I want to buy a hot dog. And then the free settled in. I'm like, yes, immediate yes, automatic yes, free hot dog. And then I'm like, oh man, the Frugal Friends community would love to know this. And also we had a lot of people checking in like, how are you doing? So I'm like, this is a great way to update everybody that we are okay and good things are still happening in the midst of tragedy. So anyways, I posted about that on our stories, and we had somebody respond like, oh my gosh, I knew you loved hot dogs so much. I can't believe you're holding two in one hand. hand. I don't know why that impressed them. It's very easy to hold 2 hot dogs in one hand. But
your hands are so small, Jill. I can't believe you're holding 2. This is amazing.
One for me, one for my husband. I wasn't getting too greedy with it. But yeah, we had people certainly commenting on the hot dog bit. Like, yeah, of course, because you love hot dogs. I'm like, you guys get me.
Yeah. I don't usually, like, when I tell people where I live, I usually say St. Pete because it's more like easily recognizable. But I actually live in Gulfport, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And Gulfport got a lot of national media coverage around Helene because a lot of it was uncharacteristically devastated. Like, there are some areas that flood frequently and knew they were going to get flooding. And Gulfport is on the water, but does not typically flood.
Yeah.
And so it has been really interesting to be so close. Last year when Ian came, we were pretty far removed from all that devastation. And like today, I am a 4-minute drive from where Gulfport basically ends now. Like,
yeah,
those roads and those houses were just like decimated.
It is wild because I've seen, you see stories throughout life of various communities getting hit with a natural disaster and seeing what devastation and need and rebuild efforts happen and how long it takes, but to actually be now living in the community where that's happening and seeing it firsthand, it's a whole other animal. But
yeah,
people
and our hearts
stepping
go
up.
out
North
North Carolina, and parts of Georgia,
Tennessee, and Georgia.
So many people.
The needs are so widespread, and I know with something like this, there can be this upsurgence of, oh, how can I help in the immediate aftermath? And I think what we can forget about is that there are needs that happen 1, 2, 3 months out from it. So yeah, if you're listening, if you're still with us listening, it's about a month out probably since the storm. Efforts are still happening. I think my takeaway from this is best to partner with organizations that are already doing stuff. So whether that's the Red Cross or Samaritan's Purse or local organizations, a lot of businesses and restaurants are doing relief efforts, partnering with other people. So yeah, good thing to keep in mind.
Shout out to Gulfport, Mississippi, who's specifically raising supplies and money for Gulfport, Florida, calling them their like little sister or something. I don't know. It was really cute to see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah.
Very cool.
So there are some good organizations that are doing some good work here, and help them, help us, help our communities. Because we love these communities, we love these neighborhoods, our beaches. We want to see them come back and their employees back, residents back. And so please, if you are able to, we'd love to see our community rise up.
See ya.
Does money stress you out? Let Facet flip your financial chaos into clarity.
Finding Facet immediately put us at ease.
Facet's innovative approach to financial planning ensures your money works as hard as you do, enabling members to experience the joys of having your finances in order.
And that makes us Facet for life now, I guess.
Visit Facet.com, FACET.com to learn more. This ad is sponsored by Facet. Facet Wealth is an SEC registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice. These testimonials are from current Facet members who are not compensated. All opinions are their own and not a guarantee of a similar outcome.
It's time for a girls' getaway. Revisit your old college town. Try that hot new wine bar. Take a boat ride on coastal waters. Just make memories you'll treasure forever. In Mississippi, wanderers welcome. Plan now at visitmississippi.org.
Sorry, Pumpkin Spice. This October is all about the beach. Cheap Caribbean Vacations is here to let you know that the fall is one of the best times to book and travel. Think about it. When the kids are back in school, you'll find more savings on flight fares and resort rates and less crowds taking up spots at the pool and beach. Check out Cheap Caribbean's Beachtoberfest sale for fall beach deals up to 60% off. And trick or treat yourself to an all-inclusive vacation. Go to cheapcaribbean.com to get started.
Join hundreds of brands achieving up to 55% productivity gains with CI&T. Meet CI&T Flow, an enterprise-ready AI platform redefining collaboration in the digital age. Flow partners with you to automate tasks, generate high-quality code, and streamline development with hyper-efficiency. Navigate AI-driven change confidently, combining technology and human ingenuity. Backed by 30 years of tech transformation expertise, CI&T is ready to help. Schedule your Gen AI strategy meeting through CINT.com/meetflow.
When it comes to getting you back to feeling right at home, Alpha's there by your side when you need us most. Handling your claims quickly. Because now is better than soon, and paid is better than pending. We make sure everything's taken care of, so you can get back to what matters most. That's life with Alpha Insurance. Visit alphainsurance.com to learn more.